now move on to file item number 3, AB 478, Zuber. Assembly member, feel free to begin and welcome.
Madam Chair, members, thank you very much. When disaster strikes, no one should have to choose between their own safety and their pet's survival. That's why I'm proud to present AB 478, a bill that's rooted in compassion, common sense, and real experience. It will ensure that pets are accounted for during emergencies and that cities and counties developed clear procedures in advance to support pet owners during evacuations. The bill was inspired by Oreo, a Pomeranian who went missing during the Palisades fire and survived for 5 days in the debris before being reunited with his owner. During disasters, pets may be separated from their owners due to a variety of reasons, including owners not being home at the time an evacuation order takes place, lack of equipment, or difficulty in capturing the animal. When animals are legally categorized as property, most people view them as family. While animals are legally categorized as property, most people view them as family and as such are determined to save them. While we've seen incredible examples of fire and safety officials working alongside the public to rescue pets, as well as extraordinary efforts of local animal shelters and rescuers, we owe it to pet owners across California to ensure that a plan is in place before disaster strikes. Upon the next update of a city or county's emergency plan, this bill would require that the jurisdiction include procedures for rescuing pets in mandatory evacuation zones. Within that requirement, local jurisdictions have significant flexibility to determine what procedures would be most relevant, safe, and efficient for their unique circumstances, and that are flexible under various types of emergency situations. The bill also directs cities and counties to provide clear online resources on pet evacuation and reunification, as well as a list of pets that have been rescued, and provides time and dignity to both animals and their owners by extending the time owners have to reclaim their rescued animals before they're adopted out, transferred, or euthanized. AB 478 will help to ensure that clear pet rescue procedures are in place prior to disaster so that rescues are conducted efficiently and will disincentivize pet owners from endangering themselves by attempting unauthorized rescues. I'm grateful for the guidance we received from the committee, which led to the most recent amendment specifying that all re-entry shall be subject to approval by the incident commander or emergency management authority and subject to incident conditions. This is also one of the issues that was raised by the sole opponent to the bill, and we've actually added that to address at least some of the concerns that were raised. This will ensure that rescues are conducted safely and in coordination with response efforts. I respectfully ask for your aye vote at the appropriate time, and with me today to testify in support of the bill is Nick Sackett on behalf of Social Compassion and Legislation, the sponsor of the bill.
Hello, good morning and welcome, Nick.
Good morning, thank you. First, I'd like to thank the author for his leadership on this issue, as well as the committee staff for their engagement and thoughtful analysis. Thank you. As cited in the analysis, a study published in the American Journal of Epidemiology found that the risk of evacuation failure increases with the number of dogs or cats in a household. A 2021 survey showed that 80% of individuals who return prematurely to evacuation zones do so to rescue pets. During the LA fires, we saw residents and rescue groups gain access to the evacuated area, sometimes without proper authorization because there was no plan nor entity designated to help with animal rescue. Not only could this put those individuals and first responders in danger, but it also took additional time away from local officials who had to field emotional and desperate pleas for help from their constituents. We must do better. Families love their animals and are naturally going to be panicked to save them during an evacuation. This bill mitigates that by strengthening evacuation protocols and designating an entity that residents can go to for help. As Mayor Lana Negretti of Santa Monica testified in the Assembly Emergency Management hearing, what that plan looks like, who implements it, those are choices that each jurisdiction will have to make on its own. This bill can't dictate that kind of granular detail. AB 478 is explicit in that whatever the local plan and procedures are, they are carried out under the chain of command of the incident commander. The bill also is explicit that it does not authorize access to the evacuation zones outside of the local plan and procedures. 19 years ago, Congress passed the Pets Act in response to Hurricane Katrina, which directed FEMA to account for the needs of persons with household pets, as well as make federal funding available for carrying out animal emergency preparedness plans, such as those that would be implemented under this bill. I'd like to close with a quote we received from Malibu City Council member Halen Conrad. AB 478 is not just about pets, it's about people. In Malibu, we've seen time and again that residents will risk their lives to save their animals. This bill gives cities the impetus to plan for that reality. Instead of reacting to chaos, it protects residents, first responders, and animals we love. We strongly support this common sense legislation that treats pets like the family members they are. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your time and consideration and respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Saget. We will now move on to any witnesses in opposition. Oh, support? Oh, support. Sorry.
I sat myself down because I'm support if amended, but we wanted to make sure that we had a moment to observe the requested amendments. My name is Karen Lang. I'm here on behalf of the California Animal Welfare Association, which is the statewide association representing California's public and private animal shelters. The amendment we are seeking is to strike the language regarding the 30-day mandatory hold of the animals that may arrive at the shelter during an emergency evacuation. Every shelter is different. A shelter could be in the way of the fire, then everyone's leaving. And I know that the bill is double referred, and it tends to be that the Business and Professions Committee deals with the sheltering piece of legislation on animal shelters. But we really can't have our hands tied in an emergency. They are dynamic by nature. Disasters don't always behave perfectly. So we need that flexibility. The 30 days is challenging. Of course, we don't have perfect data to tell you what the right number is. And so with that requested amendment, we would be fine. I did want to emphasize that training is part of it. You could put it on paper and file it away, but local governments need to train, at least do tribal exercises regarding what to do in these circumstances so that when it really happens, the folks in the room know what to do, who to call, who to trust, because part of it is who are these folks that want to go into the disaster zones and start pulling people's animals. We need to make sure that they are partners with the local agencies on the ground and not just running in and making folks less safe. So those are our concerns, but we definitely support what you're doing. Fielded a lot of frantic phone calls in January, Assemblyman, so we're definitely in support of what they're trying to do. The 30 days is a big challenge for the shelter, so support if amended. Thank you for the time.
Thank you very much for being here. We'll now continue with any lead witnesses in opposition.
Good morning, Chair and Committee. My name is Julio De Leon. I'm a lieutenant with the Riverside Sheriff's Office. We are not in opposition of the evacuation plan or emergency checklists or preparation recommendations for pet owners. However, we have a significant concern over the manageability of this program. We did in our county implement a agricultural pass program after the implementation or passing of AB 1103 back in 2021. It took our department over a year to implement that program. We involved stakeholders such as CAL FIRE, our agency, CHP, the agricultural commissioner of our county, as well as the Farm Bureau in order to implement this program. This program offers a safe and manageable entry into evacuation zones where pass holders are vetted for agricultural commodities. They are trained by the state's fire marshal. They undergo a 4-hour training of fire safety and entry. They also have a pass issued by our agency that any emergency personnel could easily recognize as a pass holder. There is also a procedure for them to get notifications when they are able to enter and exit. And all of our staff at the ingress or egress points have access to that program and know who is coming in and who is coming out. They are also not supervised while they go in because they receive that training. They know what to do if something happens And most importantly, they sign a limited or a liability waiver prior to that. And I know that the bill offers that for people, but as an attorney, you know that when people are emotional, when they're entering the zones, they want to get their pet, they're going to sign that liability. That is under duress, that is under emergency, and that could void the entire liability waiver. Our waiver is not done under duress. It is not done under an emergency. I wrote the waiver, and so it is supported, and it would be it's a better waiver in court rather than a waiver that's signed under duress. So for those reasons, we don't support the bill.
Thank you very much. Do we have? So now we'll continue with witnesses. Any other witnesses in opposition here in room 1200? Seeing none, we'll now bring it back. We'll bring back the discussion to our members. Do any of our members have questions, concerns, comments? Yes, Senator Richardson.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I want to commend the author for bringing this forward. I'm one of those where my pets are a part of the family. And I had a situation where my dog Pauline was mauled right in front of me. I'm trying to, get her, pulling her away. Meanwhile, it's ripping open her neck. And finally, the dog drops her. She takes off running. So, of course, I take off running after her. I must have been a horrid sight because people kept giving me a ride along the way. I'm hopping in cars, trying to catch her. She then runs into the White Point Reserve, which has coyotes. It's getting dusk. I'm screaming her name. It was a horrible situation. And thank God, we did find her. But my point is that there are situations where animals do get lost, and people will do like me, I'll run 2 miles and run through the reserve with coyotes at night. We will do those crazy things to get our pets. And so I definitely applaud the author for understanding that, in fact, this is happening and that a process needs to take place. With Mr. Zabur, he is a lawyer, and so I'm sure he'll consider thoughtfully, anything you present. But I would actually hope for more than 30 days, frankly, not 30 days. I was just listening on the news yesterday, and they were saying that the shelters were going to begin to do what, I don't know, to some of the animals that they have found during this period, and saying, please come, please look at the pictures, please see if this is one of your pets. So, when a person is dealing with losing their home or losing a family member, 30 days really isn't a lot of time. I mean, at that point, you're just trying to find a place to live, let alone, also searching for your dog or your cat or your cow or your big pig or whatever it is that your pet is. So I commend the author. I'd like to make a motion to move the bill and look forward to supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Richards. Any other questions, comments? Okay, members of our, I would love to give you an opportunity to address the concerns about signing a form under duress that was brought up by one of the lead opposition witnesses.
So the bill doesn't specifically mandate anything in particular at the local level. Obviously, we'll look at that issue as it moves into BMP further, but essentially, it's not uncommon, obviously, when you've got sort of an emergency management for folks to be required to sign waivers in order to move into an area that's supervised, but we'll look at that issue. I think the other thing I would sort of say is these are plans that are going to be developed. I read the sheriff's letter about the program that was implemented in his area, which took years of planning to get it right. All our bill is basically doing is just saying, look, we saw after the Palisades and the Altadena fires that there was a need, that we had people, it was not coordinated, people didn't know where to go. A lot of what was happening just sort of on its own in an informal way. And, you know, we need to sort of nudge jurisdictions to sort of do what was done in this one area in Riverside County and what's only been done sporadically across the state, which is think about understand that we're going to have emergencies moving forward, that most emergency plans don't deal with animal rescue, and that's something that should be thought about at their next annual update. And so there's a lot of flexibility in this. It doesn't require people to sort of immediately start doing something tomorrow as they're updating their emergency plans. This is a new component. They've got flexibility in how to do it in each of their areas. So some folks may use their animal control, others may use nonprofits to do this, but they're all going to be subject to the incident command, so that people can't just sort of go in on their own, and they've got to follow the rules that the jurisdictions will actually implement at the time.
So it's not something that would supersede, for instance, what Riverside County has done already. Their plan, as a matter of fact, I wonder whether or not your plan could be used as a model in consideration as moving forward, since it's already in place.
We'd love to look at it, frankly, and so as we take the next step on the bill, and obviously with the other, yeah.
So, what's that? Certainly.
So there are about 5 counties that have this pass implemented already. We weren't the first one, obviously, but we are the most recent one. Yes, we could integrate it. However, we've already had the system set up, and it would just bombard our person responsible for this already with additional calls for service. We already have a specific number of pass holders and a person dedicated to answering those phone calls. And if we were just have anyone without prior vetting, without any prior training calling in during a disaster zone, it would just bombard our existing system.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. If you're basically someone with a pet and you're trying to find them, you're going to make a call. And so what this bill would do is it would basically have the jurisdiction actually set up a process so that they can handle it, where, you know, there would be a line where someone can call, so that is hopefully not taking away from emergency management duties that are in other areas. So
I'll be happy to support the bill, and I will consider reevaluating the bill when it comes to the Senate floor. I know it's going to be continued to be worked on. Sorry. Oh, okay. Certainly. So are you a witness in opposition or in support?
Just also in support.
Okay.
On behalf of the Animal Legal Defense Fund, thank you for your time.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to do one last call. Any witnesses in support or in opposition? Okay. Seeing no other comments here. Okay. Then we are. Assemblymember Zipper, would you like to close?
The only other issue that was sort of raised was the issue that's sort of raised by the animal shelters. We're going to continue working with them as we move forward through BMP. Obviously, there's getting to the right place. We started out with a 90-day a period that people had to hold animals. Obviously, what we want to give people the time that they need during a disaster to basically sort of recover from that and figure out how to retrieve their pets. So we will continue looking at that issue and working with the animal shelters as we move through BMP. So
okay, thank you.
With that, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Perfect. Do we have a motion for AB 478?
No.
We have a motion by Senator Richardson. The bill has been moved, and so the motion is due pass to BNP committee. Secretary, please call the roll.
Padilla, Valdez, Archuleta, Ashby, Blaisper,
Aye.
Blaisper I, Cervantes,
Aye.
Cervantes I, Daly,
Aye.
Daly I, Hurtado, Jones, Ochoa-Bogue,
Aye.
Ochoa-Bogue I, Richardson, Richardson I, Rubio, Smallwood, Rubio I, Smallwood Cuevas, Wahab, Weber Pearson.
We will place that bill on call for our absent members.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.